Morning everyone, it's morning of day 60 and just been quite a lovely night actually at a Chestnut knob shelter. Had 3 other people for company, so that's a new one. Great shelter, you know, cement, stone, fully enclosed. And I did get a little nasty out here last night, not too bad, but it was pretty strong winds and it rained as well. And but yeah, had a nice time. Gave myself a bath last night as well. Everybody else was extremely envious, and place it made the place smell nicer. And yes, it needed it. There was 4 very, very sweaty people in there last night. So let's see, aiming for 24 miles today. Don't know if it'll happen, but that's the goal. That is the goal. Again, the shelters are fairly weirdly spaced out, so yeah, it's one of those days. Don't know how much film we're going to get done today. It's very, very misty, high humidity. So when I feel it's safe to pull out the phone, I'll pull it out. So let's get to it. Day 60. Hey, we're about 40 minutes into our walk this morning, coming up a fairly decent ridgeline. That's the trail southbound. But on this little outlook, it's good camping here. Firing. There's room, I would say, easily for about 3, maybe 4 tents of smaller stature. And nice farmland views. Whew. It's only 40 degrees. I've already got the bandana on. Just sweating. High humidity. Alright, we're going that way. That's what a fair amount of the ridgeline looks like. I mean, you go through the little gap bits where it's, you know, leaves and whatnot, but still rocky. And then you come up to the top of the ridges, and it's a lot like this. It's not the fastest going, I'll tell you. It doesn't start getting a little easier than this. I don't know if I'm going to do 24 today, but yeah, I'll keep you posted. That's south. We're about I don't know, 2.5 hours in, and you could put a couple of tents here, maybe like two singles, maybe even squeeze a couple of doubles in here. But man, there hasn't been a lot of opportunity to put a tent up. And this terrain here, this is about as good as it's been since the initial half hour from leaving Chestnut knob shelter this morning. Man, the track back there is very rocky, and the rocks are slippery as hell. They don't look slippery, but man, I've had to dig in 3 or 4 times to stop myself face planting. Yeah, it's slower going than I anticipated it was going to be today. And there's hardly any water. When you leave camp and you get down to that dirt road, there's a water source over to the right if you're heading northbound, left if you're sober. And yeah, you need to get water there. I had 2 bottles this morning, so I didn't bother. But no, I should have filled up my my backup bottle, because I've still got to get to a service road, and I mean, unless there's some unbelievably well-timed trail magic there sitting in a cooler, I've got another 4.5 miles to go before there's another water source. There's a campsite with an undependable water source, but I mean that's another half a mile off the trail, and I'm not walking half a mile to find out that there's no water and then walking half a mile back, so I'm not going to bother. So yeah, water's in short supply up here. So yeah, you need to suck it up and carry that extra weight. I mean, really what I should have done is I should have gone to that water source back at the road, completely drank one of my bottles, filled it up, and then filled up the backup. Because the walk up here, up these ridges, is fairly steep in places, man. It hasn't got over 40 degrees. I've been absolutely sweating. And I've got half a bottle left to last me probably about 5 miles. Which is not the way I like it. Alright, we'll leave you here. Man, sweating. But I just passed a southbound section hiker, and man, he was loaded with water. And he's like, "Man, you want some water?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I do." So he topped off my bottle, which was awesome, and it's really cold water. Whew. Yeah, yeah. He said there's because there's a Davis campsite before the next shelter, but it's like half a mile off track, and he doesn't know if there's any water down there, but he does know it's a very steep climb to go down and get it, because it's past the campsite as well. So, but he said the water's running really awesome at Jenkins, so we'll go there. I'm gonna fill up completely there. Whew. Man, literal trail magic. Love it. We've just come zigzagging down the hill here, and there's good camping here. It's right by the service road. Plenty areas, and another fire ring. Whew. Yeah, this morning's going slower. I should have known. Yeah, the ridgelines here are different from ridgelines elsewhere. They're a hell of a lot more rockier. Alright, we'll leave it here. Looks like there's a tent further up. Kind of an odd place to tent at this time of day. It's just Boulder Central. Whew. I mean, it's cool in a way. Just makes everything take longer. What is interesting here is I've seen a lot of these really cuboid boulders that I haven't seen anywhere else on the trail up to this point. Keeps going and going. It's an ocean of rocks. Well, we should be within about 40-45 minutes of the, what is it, Jenkins shelter. This is much nicer terrain. Yeah, I passed another southbound section hiker, and fortunately for me, he was loaded down with water. He's like, "Oh, you want some water?" And I'm like, "Hell yeah!" So, what are the odds? 2 times in one morning on a piece of trail that's sparsely situated with springs, and I passed 2 guys who have water to burn, so to speak. So that's been awesome. But yeah, the section of trail is nothing to play around with water-wise. Like I said earlier, load up and carry it. That's nice. God, I love this kind of trail. So much easier on the knees. Yeah, I'll stop at Jenkins and show you guys around. I'll have lunch there as well. Utilize their privy. And then we'll press on. Yeah, it's one thing you find out about Virginia, man. It all comes to how much rock is on the trail. It totally changes how your day pans out. Alright, I'll get back to you at the shelter. We're here at Jenkins shelter. Just a small one. Good tenting options. I think it's some of the most flat tenting area I've seen.
Yeah, it's definitely a good spot. I mean, we're at a pretty decent ridge line now.
Yeah. Oh, this is very nice. All right. I'm going to take a break and water up and get back to you later. Now that's a water source. This is, the book says 100 yards. I'd say it's a little further than that. Downhill north on the trail. And that's the trail. Man. I mean, I'm hot and sweaty, but it's still not warm. That water would be freezing. Otherwise, yeah, I'd be taking a soak in that. That's lovely. And, oh, you can't really see, but through there-ish, there's a campsite as well with a firing. But, yeah, man, that Jenkins shelter, I'd say that's probably got the most usable tenting areas of any shelter besides Saunders, which was north of Damascus. Alright, enough from me. I'm going to fill up all 3 bottles, and again, there's slim water on the ground between here and the next shelter, which I'm definitely not going to make. It's another 14 miles. And the other 2 people I bumped into, they were like, yeah, we're not going to make it either. So there'll be some stealth camping going on tonight. Alright, water up, have some lunch, and I'll get into it. Well, this is the privy here at Jenkins. Interesting. Does the job. It's uphill at the back of the shelter. Looks fairly recent. Alright. Let's all look away while I do my business. Hey everyone. So, just finished lunch at the shelter, and you know, it's weird, man, having humans around. So when I got to the shelter, one of the hikers from last night was there, and she was just finishing up. And then another hiker who'd beaten me there as well, he was coming up from the water source here. So that's 3 people at the shelter. So they left while I started having lunch. Well, actually, I went to the privy, come back from the privy. Another hiker from last night is at the shelter. So we're sitting there having lunch. And the 3 other hikers rock up. So it's all happening. I'm in a bubble. Some of these young cats are only carrying about 20 pounds, so they'll scoot ahead of me. But yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. Oh yeah, nothing against having some conversation with your lunch, I always say. All right, I'll catch up in a little while. Going uphill, man. Going uphill. And I'll just walk to about 6:37 and pitch my tent, basically. So, but isn't that nice? All right, bye for now. Oh, that's a determined woodpecker. Hey, feel free. So there's some good eating in that. Whew. Man, that walk up from Jenkins, that's no joke. That's a climb. Make sure you hydrate. Whew-wee. All right, well, Kiwi's getting up a good head of steam here. After you do that horrible ascent, you start leveling out, and we've basically been walking on this Forest Service hillside terrace here for the last 40 minutes or so. Yeah, I just wanted to take a break and stand in the shade. I'm not gonna lie, it's a twofer. Give you guys some information and get out of the sun. We're hitting about 74 degrees at the moment. Whew. Pulled up the leggings. Let the calves breathe. Oh man. But yeah, I don't know. I doubt very much when I'm going to make that shelter. I'm not going to do 14 miles and what was it going to be, about 6.5 hours. Not with some of the uphill bits that are still to come. So I don't know. We'll see where we end up. All right, bye for now. So we've done a pretty good descent, and we're approaching a road, probably about 5 minutes from it. And there's a good stealth camp here. Room for about 3 to 4 tents. And I think there's a stream here as well. So put this away. If there's a stream, I'll show it. How nice is that? Well, if it's something I learned, grab water when you can, so I'm going to drink another bottle and refill. A lovely spot. We have just crossed the road. I know in AWOL's book he said there was a campsite on the north side, so there's a part of it. Yeah, it's not a bad spot. Again, I'm not a huge fan of being right next to roads, but it's a fairly remote gravel road. Another nice little spot in there. That water felt good. So yeah, the hikers are taking their shoes off and dipping their feet in. It's quite heavy just to sit there. The ambient temperature dropped about 5 or 6 degrees. Just I'm sitting down by the water. Nature's air conditioning. There's a parking lot here too. Yeah, that's another reason why I'm a little squirrely about camping next to really accessible areas. And another spot in there. Oh, there's room for about probably 8 or 9 tents in here. Easy. I mean, if you were with a group, I'm sure I'd be fine. But yeah, that water's really cold. I just dipped my hands in. Washed out my sweaty bandana. That feels awesome right now. Oh, more camping. At a table. That's pretty neat. Well, you know, and it looks like there's a stream here as well. Yep. The water gets bigger just through there. Meets up with a more major flow. Well, this is a pretty good spot. Man, if it was 5:30 or 6, I'd be staying here. Very nice. Ah. That's sweet. Yeah, damn it. What time is it? It's 3:45. It's too early in the day to stop on a decent day. Definitely not going to make that shelter. That's another 9 miles. We'll be stealth camping. But I'm fully watered up. Drank the last half bottle of what I had hanging on the front of my pack. Filled it up again. Drank that. Filled it up again. I don't think there's any great water for the rest of the afternoon. There may be one. I'm pretty sure one of the southbound section hike I said it wasn't that great, so that's a nice spot. Very nice spot. Alright, we're heading up a little hill, so we'll put this away. Let's have another look, see as I was out of focus. Well, this is pretty much what the trail's like, coming up from the campsite on the other side of the road. It's very nicely switchbacked and gravelly, easy to walk on, and fairly easy to get a good rate of speed too. So I still don't think I'm going to make that shelter, but at least I'm going quicker than I thought I would. And man, the bugs are out today. Alright, I'll catch up with you guys later. Well, I caught up with the younger crowd, and there's a point in the book with a camera icon with a view, and I think they said it's about 5 miles to the shelter from there, and they're setting up for the night. They offered to squeeze me in, but that would be too much of a squeeze. But that place easily fits 2 double tents, and you could squeeze 3 doubles in there. But because Kiwi Rock's the triple, it just would have made it a little too tight. But it was very nice of them to offer. But I am pushing on. There is the slimmest of slim hopes that I can make the shelter tonight. And there's a hideously steep 600 or 700 foot climb just to get to it, which sucks. That's a really crappy way to finish the day. But we'll see if I can get to the base of that hill by 7ish. We may give it a shot. I had a pretty decent lunch, so it's not like I really need a cooked dinner when I get there. I've got plenty of food to munch on, so yeah. I don't know if I mentioned it yet, but I shopped in Marion before I ate when I got into town. Yeah, don't ever do that. When you get into town and you got that crazy bloodlust, trail hunger, go and eat. Then go resupply. Now, I'm not saying I went absolutely crazy, but I'm normally rocking about 36 to 38 pounds with food and fully watered. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I was over 42. And, you know, on the straightaways, you know, like flat bits, mild inclines, mild descents. I don't really feel it, but yeah, you feel it going uphill. You know, before I forget, that place with the view, about 5 minutes past that, there's a little thing like this where you could squeeze in a tent. And if it was later in the day, I'd be pretty tempted, or even here. Kiwi's in a stubborn frame of mood, and we're going to try and make that shelter just on principle. Alright, I'm going to put the phone away, try and crank up the speed, and I'll get back to you in a little while. That's where we come across real civilization. Alright, well I've just walked like what seemed like forever on a gravel road once you come off the AT. And there's no immediate blazes, man. And the book it just says head north. So when you hit that gravel road, go left. And go past, there's like a couple of buildings further on, there's a church. Keep going, it's brand new gravel road though. Looks like they're repositioning power lines. And follow that down, and you're gonna hit some asphalt. You go down the asphalt and keep an eye out because the road forks, and you're gonna fork to the right. And that'll take you on that overpass over the state highway, whatever the hell it was. And once you go over that, follow it as it sweeps down to the right. And there'll be the occasional white blaze. But when you get down to this point, there's more blazes. So, and this is the last water before heading up the hill. I still got 2 bottles, so I'm not bothering. And it's basically an immediate ascent for like 600 or 700 feet. So I gotta put the phone away and do my best to get up to the shelter before it gets dark, or I keel over, one of the two. Just to top it off, still got to go 0.3 of a mile. And the water source is 0.3 of a mile down a steep slope in front of it, so yeah, I don't think I'll be bothering with that. And they were kidding, man, 0.3 of a mile, jeez. That's the way we came. That's a track going up to the privy. Pretty decent tenting. I wonder if I'll have company here tonight. Another little spot in there. And more tenting here. Nope. Well, I don't know. I may just, I mean, it looks pretty clean. I don't know. Give me a few minutes, I'll decide whether I'm going to put my tent up. I've only got about half an hour of light, so. Well, at least we've made it. Helveys Mill shelter. Alright, good night everyone.